Hello my treasures, it's time for a new mercenary video. This time bird is the word when it comes to this build, where we are going to be using Medivh's Locket, a very much underused equipment in order to buff up both Boggy and our Raven familiars, so we have a way to scale up arcane damage that is incredibly hard to actually kill. Mainly due to the fact that most builds right now in the metagame don't actually have any attacking mercenaries, thanks to Khadgar. For the mercenary by mercenary breakdown, the first one is going to be Nemsy, which we're using Bog Boss as her equipment, so we can make whatever we put next to Boggy really hard to kill. Once one of your mercenaries or your opponent mercenaries die, you're going to want to move the Raven familiars next to Boggy so they're even harder to kill, as they are the thing that you want to keep alive for the longest period of time. For her abilities, you're mainly going to be swapping between Boggy Blast and Bognomics depending on what you're actually facing. Medivh is the next mercenary on the team. You are going to be, of course, using Medivh's Locket as equipment and mainly swapping between Arcane Rift and Raven Familiar for his abilities. Next mercenary on the team is going to be Lorewalker Cho. We are going to be using Stash of Scrolls as his equipment and mainly using his Patience ability to buff of all your Ravens and other mercenaries that are a lot slower. Millhouse is the next mercenary on the team. We are going to be using Arcane Powder as a way to get rid of stealth, mainly using Arcane Explosion as his ability, using Tyrande as the next mercenary with Verdant Recurve as her equipment, mainly using Arcane Salvo, but Illune's Grace can come up whenever you do want to repeat a Arcane Explosion. Finally, we have Sylvanas on the team, which is a little bit suspect, but I didn't really know who else to put on the team, so I settled with her, using her Death Volley equipment, and mainly swapping between Banshee Bolt and Reclaim Souls. With that all being said, let's look at some games. Okay, so even split, and that should be a little bit interesting. Be a wide variety of mercenaries. It doesn't actually matter the order of mercenaries that you put down here, because Medivh should actually always trigger on Nemsy. Oh, is it going to be Frost? Okay, we can actually make this work. We're going to want to focus down Local R probably first. Let's use Boggy Blast on Local R. We could use Mage Guard in theory, but let's not do that. We could also attack with Boggy. Can't remember if I do. Yeah, I do. Okay. That's something that I usually forget about in most matchups, to attack with Boggy. It's probably usually a mistake, and it can cost you some games if you don't. You just need to know when to do it and when not to do it. Nice thing about this is we are mostly going to be slower than Local R, so they're not going to ramp up the damage really quickly. Okay. And now we use Patience, and then we use our Familiar, and then don't attack with Boggy, I guess. That's fine too. We also don't mind if Cho dies first. He usually does die first. It's a little bit of a shame, but if we can get our mercenaries to survive outside of Cho, that's actually all we really need. If Cho is actually on the board, like, your familiars are going to take 18 less damage from spell damaging, which means they're almost impossible to kill, for most teams at least. Most modern mercenary teams, I should say. Let's use Arcane Rift on Jaina. Trying to get rid of Jaina next. I don't really mind leaving up Karen. I mean, it could be a problem, but at the same time, this is probably the safest bet. Shame that Cho doesn't get buffed up there, but it is what it is. Oh, 1 HP on Jaina. That's annoying, but it is what it is. Maybe I should have used... Let's try to pop the Ice Barrier. Ah, they're going to use Earth Stop. That's not really going to do much. There goes our Cho, which is a little bit of a shame, but we do have both of our Ravens out, and we have a incredibly large Boggy, so that's going to be really nice to use. Her Millhouse is probably the next mercenary to put down. We probably should have also put the two birds next to Boggy, but I guess I didn't catch on to that yet. And those are going to just keep on scaling really quickly. There's the cairn, and then kill that. And our Ravens stay alive. They're not going to be alive for much longer. Maybe using a Zoth as the final mercenary instead of Sylvanas would have been interesting. But that does heavily rely on Boggy surviving late game, which isn't always the easiest thing to do. And okay, so we can minimize the amount of damage that they can do to us. And then we're going to try to hard focus down Diablo. So even if they have the stomp, we should keep all of our things alive here. And there's the stomp. It does literally no damage to the ravens. That's amazing. And then we just nuke them both. Okay, so 3 casters, 2 protectors, 1 fighter. That almost makes me want to say old gods, but I think old gods only use 1 protector. I really want to face old gods. Oh, a Trigor build. Interesting. And the good thing is we don't actually have anything that does AoE damage. So we can just hard focus down Trigor. Little bit of a shame for them, I guess, but it is what it is. It'll work out pretty well for us. Okay, there goes Pocky Blast into Trigor. What are they going to focus down first? Oh, they're actually smart. That's impressive. They actually went out after Medivh. That's not something that I would have expected to see someone to do. Well, there's our bird. Actually, does Trigor do physical damage or spell damage? Because I think our birds might be safe from Trigor, which is actually kind of funny if they are. Well, we're just going to keep focusing down Trigor. Should be able to get rid of him this turn. And they might be able to get Medivh dead in a turn or 2, which is still fine. And it does look like they did AoE, so Cho probably just got hit indirectly. Well, there goes... Medivh isn't dead yet. Come on, give us double damage. Come on. Just need to hit a little bit more. 6 damage. Hey, they're going after Cho. They started on Medivh, and then went on Cho. That is going to cost you the game, probably, my friend. Let's just keep going after Trigor in case the bird doesn't survive long enough. Oh, and that is why we target it with multiple abilities instead of 1. Oh, we got perfect lethal anyways. Oh, Maestra. That's kind of interesting. I don't know why you would use Maestra with that equipment in particular, unless you're trying to do what I did in the last week's video. Birds of Feather. I'm gonna go after Khadgar next. We have both of our birds up, so it's really going to be Master versus Apprentice, it looks like, this game. Cho is probably dead next turn. Medivh might also be dead, which is also fine. Get double damage on one of our birdies. Ooh, 60 damage is always nice to see. And then 35. The amount of scaling in this build is really, really nice. That gets rid of Khadgar. Our Boggy's still left alive. Oh, sudden betrayal. That actually hurts a lot because that gets rid of our bird and it gets rid of Boggy, making it a lot harder to do anything. I'm curious if Tyrande... We can use Tyrande. Also probably should swap the order of the bird and Medivh because of Sinister Strike or whatever the second ability on Maestra is. Oh, I guess the bird... Oh, no. We don't want the bird in front of Medivh. Maestra. I cannot get these mercenaries right today, it doesn't feel like. Well, we can get a Gnar bird, which could be really nice. Trying to kill Boggy is probably also kind of safe. We could also try to duplicate the bird. I'm curious of how that would work, but we're just going to be safe and just pretend that we don't have that as an option. Hopefully Tyrande actually hits Boggy, maybe? Hopefully? Shifting Strike is what I was trying to think. Oh, we had enough HP, so it didn't really matter. Okay, so Boggy is dead. Well, bam. Then what are they going to hard target? Oh, there's Medivh. Actually not in a bad position. We put down Millhouse. We have both of the birds next to Boggy, which is really, really nice. Trying to swap the position of the birds. Oh, honestly, should probably have it like this. Let's hope it stays like this because I know sometimes repositioning isn't the easiest. Like that. I don't really care if Nemsy gets killed. Gotta love the positioning in this game mode. It goes wrong half of the time. It's not as buggy as it used to be with Maestro, but it definitely is really, really buggy. Let's try to kill Sinestra, I think. A doubling Arcane Explosion should get rid of Maestra, and it does. Perfect, and Boggy. Now we can just Birds of a Feather away the dragon. Turns out a dragon is mightier than the... Or turns out the feather is mightier than a dragon, is what I was trying to say. Doesn't really matter what they have for next turn. We should just be able to one-shot anything with our 2 birdies. Huh. Don't think this is going to matter much what we target. We should have enough damage just to finish them off. I'm going to try to get rid of Bane first. Oh, maybe Nemsy. Nemsy wouldn't be bad to get rid of. The AoE should get rid of everything else. Perfect. Lethal on the Boggy, then AoE again, and then boop and boop from our little birdies for victory. Oh, it's mainly casters. That makes me think it's going to be old gods, but I don't know. Khadgar, Nemsy. Wait, is this nature? I haven't seen nature in a long time. Hey, how do we want to do this? We're going to probably focus down Khadgar, I would assume. We could also focus down Boggy, because if we can kill the Boggy in one turn, then they don't ramp up that quickly, but we don't also attack that often in this build. This is the perfect matchup for us because we have the one taunt that keeps our stuff alive, and they probably don't have any attack-based mercenaries in this team. Boggy's the closest. And if we just get rid of Khadgar, then we get rid of one of their scaling. Though the nature damage on Wukong might be a little bit worrisome. Just going to summon our familiar, keep going after Khadgar, buff up everything with Cho. There goes our patience. They are focusing down Cho. That's actually where I would focus everything if I was them. And I didn't know exactly what we were actually trying to do with this build. But them focusing down Cho does nothing for them. We should be able to get Khadgar dead this turn. We could maybe keep Cho alive with Bognomics, but let's just be a little bit safe. They also aren't attacking with Boggy each individual turn, even though they could. Well, there goes Cho probably this turn, which kinda sucks. But out of all the mercenaries they could hard focus down, that's probably one of the safer ones, and there goes their Khadgar. Okay, so we have Millhouse next, probably. We're also, well, I guess I don't catch on to it. Yeah, putting him there. We also probably should have put the familiar next to, yeah, there we go. Because I don't really mind Medivh dying, I think, in the next turn. Mainly because I think we can actually get the second bird up. Yes, we can. And he's served his purposes if we can actually do that. Going after Nemsy next. Probably should have actually went after Malfurion. I think Malfurion would be the safer bet. Because we can do double damage on Malfurion. I don't know. Nemsy at the same time. Okay, I guess. Need to swap the orders of that just to get a little bit of extra damage. Here's our Arcane Explosion. I don't think we kill Malfurion this turn. They are going after Medivh. That's where I would go to if I was them. But it's a little bit too late to focus down Medivh. Also should have swapped the targets to Malfurion for that, but it is what it is. Oh, there goes Medivh. Turns out we don't really need Medivh. We just need our birds. I'm going to reorder these so the birds stay alive. Our Boggies both are huge at this point. Okay, so Arcane Grace... or Elun's Grace, and then we can bombard the Malfurion into non-existence. It's amazing how quickly these scale up. Oh, there goes Tyrande, but I don't think we really need Tyrande. Though our birds are getting really, really low, which might be a little bit of a problem. Oh, they're actually attacking. Okay. Well, I guess we put down Sylvanas next. We AoE with Millhouse. And then I think we could nuke the Boggy out of existence this turn. Do we really need to is the question. Oh, we could use for the queen to AoE everything here, except for the boggy. Keeping up the boggy is fine, because we have our own boggy. Hey, well, maybe we... I don't know. There's a lot of little decisions that we could actually be making here. Yeah, let's try to get rid of Brucon before we get them anything else on their board. Brucon's their last way to scale up damage, I would assume. Hey, what are they going to hit? Ah, they're going after Millhouse next. Probably a good bet for them. To get rid of Malfurion, we're going to force everything to attack the Boggy. Then we can nuke the Brucon, and then we get rid of the Nemsy, and then they only have one big Boggy left, and the Boggy is no more. Let's see what they have left on the bench. Oh, it's been a while since I've seen Cookie. Shame that he doesn't scale off of nature damage anymore with his bleeds, but we should be able to just finish them off this turn. Not even that hard to do that, because each of our birds have like 50 plus damage. Oh, and they leave. Okay, main the casters. Let's see what they have in store for us. A Khadgar. Oh shit, is this a version of the same build that I put out last week? Where they're going to try to get 5 mercenaries for the price of 1? It's actually kind of funny if it is. And funny thing about this is Valeera actually will lose her stealth because we do have Millhouse. And we can also buff up the Boggy just to make him a little bit harder to kill in one shot. And it also does scale up our arcane damage a little bit more. They're actually using Arcane Surge. Okay, that's kind of interesting. Oh, I guess they're probably using the fire equipment instead. Well, that's not going to do anything. Oh, we might want to swap where Medivh is if Chode dies. We're going to summon our bird. And then, what do we want to do? Probably Boggy Blast. Going after Khadgar first, because Khadgar could be the biggest problem really, really quickly. We're probably not going to get this attack off, but you never know. Our Boggy's getting incredibly low. I don't know if he'll actually survive this turn. They're healing up everything. And it doesn't look... Oh, we were just a little bit quicker, or we could have actually had a big Boggy up still, but it is what it is. The bird is something that we really want to protect here, though. The issue is, I don't know if we can. Oh, it depends on the speed of... And this is the one time we would prefer the Boggy to actually get hit by Rattlegore, because I'm assuming Rattlegore is going to be quicker. So probably should have reversed that again. Yeah, there we go. Oh, Medivh's going to get hit. Oh, Medivh is still alive. Boggy is not. Oh, Medivh is not live. Okay, we have one bird up, which doesn't make this the easiest game to win in the world, but it doesn't make it the hardest game either, because we can now start using Millhouse, and then if we keep the Boggy next to Raven, it should be a lot harder to kill. But we're going to use Patience again. I know there's probably a little bit of anti-synergy with Millhouse, but Arcane Explosion does allow us to just AoE something. Probably going after Khadgar still. I know we have attack-based mercenaries on their side, but getting Khadgar means they don't scale as quickly. Well, there goes Boggy, which is a little bit of a problem. Our bird is still going to live. That's amazing at this point. Khadgar can do no damage to this little birdie. I'm gonna hit that. Well, the bird is no longer protected by Boggy, which sucks, but what can you do about it, really? Let's use Bognomets on our bird. Sounds a little bit weird, but it will keep him alive, and we can use Arcane Explosion to just turn off Smokescreen, or whatever the Valeera equipment actually is. I'm curious of what the last mercenary on the bench is, though. Dirty Tricks on Millhouse. The bird barely survives. Oh, always forget about the stupid spell resistance. Our bird is winning. Oh, there goes a bird. Guess bird isn't a word for this game. How do we want to do this? I think... Oh, we don't have any spell damage anymore, which sucks. We're going to want to try to kill Valeera. Valeera's going to be a big headache if we don't get rid of her soon. There goes Cho, that's fine. That... Oh... We still can win, I think. Come on, hit. Oh, there we go. Valera's dead. Okay, now they're down to 3, so we can actually make this work, I think. Oh, we might have wanted to move the Millhouse. Maybe not. I think it's Dirty Tricks no matter what this turn. Then we'll just buff up the Sylvanas. Yeah, okay. Of course, they're going to go after Sylvanas, and then we're going to AoE twice with that. Doesn't get rid of anything this turn, but it is pretty nice for next turn. Okay, 50 attack. We're going to want to get rid of Maestra, I think, first. Then we'll use Arcane Salvo. Should actually get rid of the entire board. Because if we get rid of Maestra, it should be quicker. There we go. One big Banshee Bolt. We're going to heal up a little bit, but it is a little bit too late, my friend. Oh, it doesn't kill the entire board, but it gets pretty damn low. Okay, we can actually still win this. What mysterious fighter are you going to have? Oh, it's going to be Sylvanas. Okay, so we can double the Arcane Explosion again. Oh, actually, let's go with Greater... well, Greater Arcane Missiles is probably the safer bet. Because I don't think Brightwing can actually kill Millhouse this turn, and this should guarantee lethal. One last missile for lethal. Alright, now that we're through the games, let's discuss my final thoughts of the build. So this build felt incredibly fun to play and was incredibly consistent. The clear weakness for this build might be something that actually does use attack-based mercenaries. However, most people aren't running them because Khadgar is such a big threat currently in the metagame. And most people won't actually focus down Medivh as the first mercenary to kill, which is a huge mistake when going against this build, and most people will actually focus down Cho instead. If Cho dies first, that's no big problem. As long as you can get your 2 Ravens out on the board, you should be able to win out almost any single game you actually have, which is why this is such an easy recommendation for me to make to y'all to try out, because it does feel incredibly strong and is a really underused equipment that you can make some use out of before we get the next batch of mercenaries. And like always, if you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, bye bye.